Clip this. Close this. Close this here too. What the hell is this?
Lo esencial debe ser ilimitado. Ahora en T-Mobile, llévate llamadas, textos e internet 4G LTE ilimitados por solo $30 al mes por línea al activar 4 líneas en la red más rápida en Puerto Rico. ¿Eres de los nuestros? T-Mobile.
But there's more to John McCain. Here's this guy, Jeffrey Goldberg. I'm forgetting who he is already. I looked it up, but now I forget. He says, a core lesson of the Holocaust for John McCain, quote, he said that in the post-Holocaust world, all civilized people and the governments of all civilized nations should be intolerant of leaders who commit verified acts of genocide. Here's Adam Johnson
North America, yeah.
to let you know why that's crazy and ridiculous that he said that and hypocritical to the nth degree.
So,
McCain voted against an effort 6 months ago to end the Saudi slaughter of Yemen, a siege that kills 15,000 and created 1 million cases of cholera. He routinely backs the war and selling of arms to the Saudis. Now he's a champion against genocide? What universe do you people live in?
Earth, maybe.
He's for genocide.
2018, maybe.
We're committing siege warfare, which is starving people. That's what that is, siege warfare, which is a war crime. And we're helping do that. The Saudis do that in Yemen, and John McCain's all for it. Why? Because John McCain is a bloodthirsty fucking maniac killer. He's a murderer. That's what he is.
Yeah. Well, labor buster. I don't give a shit.
They're bombing fishing villages with cluster bombs. They're bombing school buses with children. And the Saudis stand by it, and John McCain's for it. It was fully within McCain's ability to end the Saudi destruction of Yemen earlier this year. He decided not to because the Saudis serve American regional interests. His concern for human rights was arbitrary and self-serving PR.
It's a 4-year notebook. I still have it. MS Inspiration.
So, anybody trying to say that John McCain cared about human rights or was a warrior for peace.
You know what? It's like, why are they so afraid to be exacting about this man's career?
What is that?
If we're celebrating war and we're in 8+ wars, why aren't they saying this guy loved every single war that we've ever been in? He's a big champion of war. That's why he's being honored by, was it Lockheed Martin? Is that,
Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, you know, because he's always about the interests of Lockheed Martin and that industry, and that they call it an industry. National security industry makes me uncomfortable on so many levels. So if he's such a noble man, why not just note specifically what he did successfully?
Tell me. Here's this guy, Mike Jollett. God damn it. Trump, he's another one of these guys who thinks he knows about politics because Trump. He doesn't like Trump, so now and I guess he was a musician or something that he's got a blue check and he gets a lot of retweets. Look at this, 11,000 retweets, almost 12,000 retweets. I've never had a tweet go half that. Maybe a pinned tweet I had. Anyway, he says, I lost my father recently. It was the hardest thing I've ever gone through. Whatever your views on John McCain or his legacy, his family is suffering right now. It costs you nothing to show him and his family the basic human dignity all people deserve. I would have an easier time if Meghan McCain wasn't such a repulsive piece of it who doesn't give a shit about poor people not getting health care. When she's the richest thing in the world and never had to ever worry about anything in her life ever. Never had to worry about a dental appointment or seeing a doctor or getting a pair of glasses or affording a ride to school or having to turn... Nothing. So maybe if they didn't advocate for fucking over poor people on the regular... and keeping basic necessities of life away from poor people. Maybe if they did that, I would give a fuck about John McCain's family. But they don't. They advocate the other way. They're the richest people in Arizona, and they advocate for fucking over poor people in the richest country in the world. So fuck you. Honest to God, I'm so sick of fucking assholes like this.
I don't know. You know, when Mikhail Jolit says it costs you nothing to show him and his family the basic human dignity all people deserve, it costs me nothing. I gotcha. But you know what? How many people have died since John McCain has been in office who didn't have access to health care? What was it? 45 million people died every
No, 43,000 people a year died because of lack of and 30 million people, 29 million people don't have health insurance still.
And let me tell you, Cindy McCain's net worth, it costs me nothing, is $300 million. That's what they have documented. That's what they're showing us.
Yeah, and John McCain had his choice between 2 or 3 different government programs to pay for his health care. Here's what Adam Johnson said about it. Well, now that we're doing manipulative claptrap, which is what this is manipulative claptrap. This is bullshit. Now that we're doing manipulative claptrap, let me say I lost my father 2 months ago. Please feel free to drag John McCain. He helped start a half dozen wars. Politics is an adult's game. Avoid sentimental tripe, please, and thank you.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, mic drop.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There you go.
Because that is what that is. That's sentimental tripe.
So, suck on that, Mike Jollett. And by the way, everyone dies. Everyone dies. Everyone dies. I'm gonna die. Steph's gonna die. Ron, even Arno, how young he is going to die.
Sorry, Arno. This might be the first time you're hearing about this.
Thank God, I hope.
John McCain called for the mass murder of people on the regular. And if my dad was a mass murderer and when he called for mass murder all the time and when he died, I'd expect people to say some shit about it. Oh, it hurts my feelings.
Good. Right.
Hey, my dad died, but people were nice on Twitter, so. What the? Maybe they can take their $300 million, the McCain family, to buy earplugs and blackout eyeglasses so they don't have to read any mean things about their warmongering, bloodthirsty maniac of a fucking jagoff dad.
Yeah. All right. Well,
you know, they go, oh, well, he did vote for the, they say, oh, he did vote for Obamacare. He saved it, remember, with that thing. Remember? Yeah, and then he voted for the tax thing, which fucked over people, health care. Jake Tapper says, I hope I don't run this clip for another 50 years, but how do you want the American people to remember you? So this is the Jake Tapper, this video clip. It says, I am able to celebrate a wonderful life. Senator John McCain told me almost a year ago, and then there's a video. And he says, I hope I don't run this clip for another 50 years, but how do you want the American people to remember you? McCain, he served his country, and not always right, made a lot of mistakes, made a lot of errors, but served his country. And I hope we could add honorably. Go back to Adam Johnson. McCain's mistakes and errors resulted in hundreds of thousands of deaths. But this won't matter because those deaths were in Iraq. Those deaths were Iraqi, Vietnamese, Palestinian, Yemeni, e.g. populations with zero purchase among U.S. media elites.
Is that good or bad?
Exactly right.
Oh, that's bad.
Here's someone's hot couch and blaring DVD men by your logic said, I like this thing where we have someone who we only know because of her evil family, meaning Meghan McCain, who we only know because of her evil family, but we're also forbidden to make any jokes about them. I love that the nation all has this 35-year-old fucking idiot we all have to coddle and raise together because her dad's long life is ending. We all have to collectively coddle Meghan McCain because her 81-year-old warmongering, bloodthirsty dad. Adam Johnson replies to that, says, I like that as a country, we collectively value manners over brown and black lives. Like this isn't even rhetorical flourish or meant to be provocative. It's objectively, demonstrably true. We live in an Edwardian period drama. It's sick. I don't even understand what that means. Edwardian period. What is that, Rob?
Oh, I have no clue. Yeah.
You're a professor.
We'll have to tweet Adam Johnson.
Maybe we need to tweet at Edwardian.
But that is true. It's like it's like, let's all show how that we're great. We're a great country because we can have manners when a warmonger dies. What? We should all be ashamed that we let a guy like that influence our politics for so long, and then we venerate him.
You know what? Why don't we do this in memory of John McCain? Why don't we, in memory of John McCain, end the wars and wipe out homelessness?
Yeah, how about that?
Why don't we do this in the name of John McCain? Let's do that as a tribute to his honorable life that he led in behalf of the military-industrial complex.
How about we get health care to all the poor people that he fucked over with that tax vote? Mm-hmm. How about that?
How about every single veteran who's living on the fucking street is cared for, and their family and their children can be sent to college? Why don't we do that in honor of John McCain's wonderful life?
Thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed. Even if you think you are, you're probably not. It only takes a second to check, and then you have to ring that bell so they send you a notification when we drop a new video. Otherwise, they won't tell you when we drop new videos. And if you like our show, please help support it. Become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every week, and we give a live stream. We do a live stream every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time when you could ask us questions, and we answer them back. Thanks for your support. We went to Chicago last week. We should have went this week because the DNC was in town.
Coulda.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that the DNC was going to be. I mean, that's you can only know so much.
I too think Chicago should have been this week. I totally vote for that. If only.
If only. So, but they're having, because the DNC's meeting in Chicago to vote on, the Rules Committee would have you to vote on the super delegates. And here's what happened. Here's from the Real News Network. They were there. So now if we were there, we'd be the only one with the video. Because I think the Real News Network might have been the only people there with the video. But here we go.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes overwhelmingly have it. And the report and the chart, the call, is adopted.
Okay, so there you go. They voted down, no super delegates get to vote in the first round, in the first ballot. So there it was. There's the vote. There they approved it. And as my friend Malcolm says, tough 24 hours for the Democratic Party establishment, losing both their hero John McCain and super delegates at the same day. Then again, they're used to losing, I guess. Hashtag 1,000 seats. You guys don't think that's funny?
That's
Nobody's laughing?
Yeah.
I've laughed my head off. They're just sitting there. I think it's funny.
What else you got, Malcolm? What else did you tweet today?
Yeah,
I liked it.
So here is what they actually passed. So this is from Our Revolution's website. They passed ending superdelegates voting on the first nominating ballot in the presidential primary, electoral reforms, and a process for rewarding states that have same-day registration, same-day party change, open primaries, other measures that increase civic participation. Now, I don't know what those reforms are.
right.
What are the electoral reforms and a process? What is the process for rewarding?
And what's the reward?
That's what I want to know. What did you do to reward? These are all the same. I have the same questions. So maybe we'll get Nomiki Kant on the show because she knows all about this. She was on that committee. What do they call it? The Unity Committee. The creation of an ombudsman. Oh God.
God damn.
It's been my whole life. It's been I want to be an ombudsman.
Well, it's not too late.
Oh.
There's a new committee now.
I'm kind of surprised it's not an ombuds person.
Hi, this is the hi Jimmy Dore. This is the ombudsman calling. No, I'm not drunk. I'm an ombudsman.
Have you been ombudding?
Whoa!
I'm ombudding
right now.
I've been out butt cracking.
You know, the last bullet, Jimmy, it says improving financial oversight of the DNC's finances and spending. Does that mean they're getting rid of Debbie Wasserman Schultz completely?
No, I don't know what that means. But I'll tell you this.
Come on, Jim. Enjoy that moment.
So these are, I guess, also very important. I have to find out exactly what all this means. And then we'll, because I'm sure, when it says improving financial oversight, what does that mean? Improving. Because, we didn't know that Hillary Clinton, they said all that money they were raising for down ballot vote races actually wasn't going to down, actually went to her Brooklyn office. Hey, how come that's not fraud? How come she doesn't have to go to jail for that? Isn't that election fraud? Remember when they were raising all that money and they said it was supposed to go to down ballot and it didn't, and we found out like 99% of it was going to her? Mm-hmm. How is that? Why didn't that get, isn't that fraud? I don't think you can do. Anyway, so we'll find out about these, but I know for sure what this one means. Ending superdelegates voting on the first nominating ballot in the presidential primary. Okay, I know what that means. And and they go, hey, we haven't had, a nomination hasn't gone to the second ballot in 30 years. That's what first I was hearing. Then I heard Norman Solomon say the last time it happened was 1956. And I was like, I thought it was 30 years ago. Anyway, so I tried to look it up. I couldn't find out when was the last time. But I'm not the best looker-upper, and I should have given it to someone else to look up for me. Again, I needed an assistant. You get it one. You have what? So, anyway, here's what's going to happen. So if they allow Bernie Sanders to run. Now, remember, they passed that law or that rule that Bernie Sanders, by the way, and they can pass any rule they want in the dark. Like when they reversed their taking money from fossil fuels, they just did that. That kind of leaked out. That wasn't like a big, anyway.
If your loyalty to the party is in question, you can't run for president.
Yes. That's right. So they can say, hey, Bernie's not a good Democrat. He's not a Democrat in good standing. And he runs as an independent in Vermont. And you have to run as a Democrat for your seat and all that stuff, right? So they can just say he can't run in the They could just say that. And then Bernie Sanders is effed. But I think what will more likely happen is this. Now, tell me if you guys think this is what's going to happen.
I'm not a guy.
Bernie Sanders is going to be far and away the overwhelming favorite going into the Democratic primary. They run Elizabeth Warren, splits the progressive vote, Joe Biden, and also now all three of them are equal going into the first ballot. We have to have a second ballot, and then the superdelegates get to pick Joe fucking Biden. What do you think?
Substitute.
Is that crazy of me to think that?
No, I think you're right on target.
It's not. I hope you're wrong for the sake of our world, but but I don't think that's totally off. I would say substitute Biden for Booker or Harris.
Okay.
I think they're going to try to shove one of them down our throats. I think it's going to be Harris or Booker.
Both the devil. They're both awful. They're both corporate tools. They're both, Kamala Harris did nothing but help to explode the prison population here in California. And then she was shocked to find out that there were problems, although they were under investigation for several years.
You mean she was shocked to find out that the reason in California, this is getting off topic, but really quickly, in California, they were ordered to let prisoners go because they were so overcrowded, and they wouldn't do it. And Kamala Harris is in charge of that. And so her office got taken to court a couple times, and in court, her office argued that they didn't do that because it would upset the prison labor situation. When that made headlines in the LA Times paper, that's what she's referring to is that Kamala Harris says she was shocked to find out that that's what her office was arguing in court. Okay. Yeah, she was shocked that it got found out. So that's the kind of leader Kamala Harris is. Not good. A horrible leader. The opposite of a leader. So back to this story. So I think that's a big possibility that Bernie Sanders will be an overwhelming favorite. They have Elizabeth Warren run or someone like that to split the vote with the progressives. I don't know who else that could be. That would also...
That they would want to run.
Right.
Yeah.
And and then so they could give it to the corporate Democrat. So I think that's a possibility. Here's a little bit more. The Real News interviewed. Here's Nina Turner. Here's what she said about it.
This is a big win for us, but as a progressive movement, we're going to continue to do what we've always done, which is to get progressive candidates elected. Many of the people who watch the Real News, you've heard me say time and time again that any old blue just won't do. I mean that. We want people who are going to stand up and use that power on behalf of the people. We want people who understand that it's not okay to say that within the Democratic Party we can take oil and gas money. We want people who understand that it's not okay just to be up in here talking about the voting rights of superdelegates. Meanwhile, the Voting Rights Act has been gutted. Or that there are people in this country who've served their time and they still can't vote in this country. That in the great state of New York that is controlled by Democrats, that you got to register a whole year ahead of time to participate in the process. See, we want people to stand up not when it's comfortable and convenient, but in times of inconvenience, as the great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has said. So, you know what? We're going to continue to do what we've always done. Elect progressive candidates, stand up for the issues that matter in this country, and continue to work to transform the Democratic Party. Our mission has not changed, even though I'm happy about the vote.
I am also happy about the vote. It's good to see the Democratic Party at least try to move to be more democratic instead of having it be chosen by an elite select few neoliberals who are approved by Wall Street and the military-industrial complex and big insurance. So it's good to see that they're moving closer to that. But when she said, we're going to continue to do what we've always done, which is to continue to elect progressive politics and work to, take over the Democratic Party, this is not happening. This idea that there's some progressive wave happening, there might be a blue wave in November, but it's going to be a bunch of ex-CIA people and corporate Democrats. It's not progressives. You know how many corporate Democrats have been successfully primaried so far since Bernie Sanders' 2016 run? You know how many corporate Democrats have been successfully primaried? One. Joe Crowley. So, okay, so I just, this is good news. I wonder how much longer these people will spend, how much time of their life they will spend fooling themselves that they can reform the Democratic Party. Because I think it's a fool's errand. Hey, again, I'm all for this. Doesn't look like the Democratic Party's going away, so if they can become a little bit less corrupt, I'll applaud it. But this idea that somehow the progressives are taking over is not happening. And that's a very possible scenario with Bernie Sanders. I think it's possible. Where they screw him again. They find this new way to screw him. So I just think I wonder how much more of good people are going to spend of their life working inside an unreformable machine like that, thinking that they can reform it.
That's a concern that I share. And my takeaway here, I'm happy about the vote because it does show what the base wants, and that's a positive thing. On the other hand, it's kind of like one of those things. The superdelegates, it's kind of like when you're talking about healthcare. We can't have the insurance companies at the table, period. It's the same notion here. We can't have the superdelegates at the table, period. The only appropriate number is zero. At every level. At the first round, 0. Second round, 0. Third round, 0, etc., etc. And if you go to Donna Brazil's Twitter account today, she's pretty confident that they still got a big seat at the table.
Why? What did she say?
She said, well, here, let me pull it up exactly. But she basically said something along the lines that, we're still fine. We can still influence stuff. And when I first saw it, I'm going to read it exactly. I'm getting to her timeline now. But when I first saw it, I thought it was a parody account because I was like, there's no way she would actually say that. But no, it was her. It was really her. And here, let me find it exactly.
Well, I already read when no matter what, if it comes down to a superdelegate, still, they will still have their freedom to vote the will that they want.
Yeah.
They don't have to represent whatever their constituency wants. Ultimately, they'll have the last word, which is not democracy.
I agreed.
So I just think, to me, I think this is like a gesture. Like, it's like, hey, we gave you something. Now watch out. Now I want to see what else they're going to give the people in this process, if anything. I don't think anything else will be helpful.
So let's listen to the rest of this report, Raul.
Spoke to Norman Solomon, National Coordinator of RootsAction.org.
It means that what we have been demanding in terms of selecting a Democratic Party nominee for president, a level playing field, as a practical matter, will happen between now and 2020. There has not been a second ballot since 1952.
So did you hear what he said?
Yes.
There's not been a second ballot since 1952. Now I've been hearing up. That's why I was looking up 1988 and Dukakis, and then I was trying to look up. Hey, when did his ballot? It wasn't then, and then he says 52. So I think that was Lincoln, right?
I think you're right.
So here's the tweet really quick. Democrats voted to remove automatic delegates from the first round of voting, but we still have seats at the table. We are still in the room and very much capable of setting the menu.
She's in charge.
What the fuck? Why would she think that's a good thing to say?
And then the hashtag Power Rising.
Are you kidding me? Can you take a little screenshot of that and send it to me?
Absolutely.
I got to put that up here. Let's listen to what Norman Solomon has to say.
The odds are overwhelming that the grassroots entirely, a democratic process, lowercase d democratic process, will determine who the nominee of the party is. When we organize, when we raise hell, and we don't give up and we keep fighting, we can accomplish things that we probably thought were next to impossible. And I'm a case in point. I didn't think this was in the cards. We've made it happen.
We also spoke to party activist Helena Vick.
So he's saying that happened because of all the activism by people like the nurses, by Roots Action, Our Revolution, stuff like that. He's saying that this is the result of that. Look at the result. And he said, I don't even think this could happen. Okay. So they spoke with, this one went on a hunger strike over this.
Who's been on a hunger strike for the past week to demand the Democrats reform the superdelegate system. And what do you say to people that say, this wasn't enough? Like they wanted to get rid of superdelegates altogether. They wanted to end fossil fuel contributions, which the DNC just reinstated. That they want to see.
I mean, right. That's another thing everyone's forgetting. They just reinstated taking money from fossil fuel. I mean, so it's one step forward, two steps back for these MFers. They just reinstated, again, taking fossil fuel money. It's just awesome. So let's see what she says.
Change. It's not enough. They're not back in the party yet.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. Okay, I am one of those people. It's not enough, and but it is. It's a win. And if I think Nina said it really, really well earlier when she said that you had to come to a consensus to get it done. And so this was a great big fat foot in the door. And if we take advantage of the reforms, then the next time we can push even harder.
Reporting from Chicago for The Real News.
Okay, so next time we'll get the real reform. Is that what you said at the end there? Is that what I heard? Is that literally what she said?
The real reform's coming.
The real reform is keep waiting. Someday, Mr. Not now, MLK. Just be patient. Keep waiting. Isn't that what they told him? Isn't that what we need to write a letter to the Democrats from a Birmingham jail. So it's too late. You already have Trump. Just keep waiting. They already have Trump. Keep waiting for those big reforms. You already have Trump. Keep waiting. So I don't know. This is, to me, this. People are going to make a big deal out of this. It's not a big deal to me at all. It's better, but it's not a big deal. The Democrats are still totally corporate owned. They're still taking money from fossil fuel industry. The Democrats. Are you still going to wag your finger? So at least now it's out in the open. So when people wag their finger at the Greens for voting green, which they're goddamn right, If they get to vote their conscience, they get to vote for someone who represents their views. Plus, they get to send a message to the parties. There's a lot of things when you vote for a third party. So anyway, did you send me that? Did you get that?
Yeah, I did. I sent you that screenshot. Okay. And I guess for optimism's sake, I'll say this just to it's better than I expected. I didn't expect them. I expected a lot less. So, I did. I expected less. So, it's better than I expected. Enough? Absolutely not. Huge news? No. But it's better than I expected. I expected even less.
I don't know. I don't have hope for the democratic process through the Democratic Party. I just don't think they have, right now, Jimmy, you just covered a story that Hillary Clinton was the headliner for several DNC fundraisers. So I don't think the direction of the DNC is going to reflect the needs of the people. And if they do, it's going to be like this little incremental stuff that we're supposed to give us hope, and after 40 years, Jimmy, what kind of progress do you think we're going to make?
So here's Donna Brazil. This is what she says. Democrats voted to remove automatic delegates from the first round of voting. What that means is she doesn't even call them super
that's a flowery way of saying
so instead of saying super delegates, she says automatic delegates. Jesus Christ. For super delegates from the first round of voting. But we still have seats. That right there when she says that, you can't even say super delegates. Mm-hmm. You got to gaslight people, and Jesus Christ. Hey, we're having more transparency. I say in the most transparent way possible.
Yeah, right.
Democrats voted to remove super delegates from the first round of voting, but we still have seats at the table. Super delegates do. Super delegates are still in the room, and super delegates still very much capable of setting the menu. Hashtag power rising.
Yeah, because they didn't have power before.
What? Power, right? You're talking about the powerful.
The poor, underserved superdelegates.
Superdelegates.
Is the power rising, is that talking about those people that still have a seat at the table?
That's what she's talking about. As if she just won some victory for the powerful. That's what she did.
We all used to have 4 seats at the table. Now we got 3. Power rising.
Power rising.
Power rising. Rest of you still got 1 or 0. We got 3.
Do you see
you know what, Jimmy? I just found out I'm an automatic delegate. Who else here? What? Automatic delegate? Bullshit.
So what that is the Democrats letting... look how out of touch that is. She did that publicly. That's not an email she sent to her friends. That's what she did in public. Isn't that weird? Yes. Yes, that's weird. I'll answer it for you.
And there are at least 116 people on Twitter that don't understand the concept of irony.
That is fucking
as evidenced by the likes.
That is unbelievable.
Go.
Power to the powerful. Power to the powerful. Power rising to the powerful.
Good job.
Thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed. Even if you think you are, you're probably not. It only takes a second to check. And then you have to ring that bell so they send you a notification when we drop a new video. Otherwise, they won't tell you when we drop new videos. And if you like our show, please help support it. Become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every week, and we give a live stream. We do a live stream every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time when you could ask us questions and we answer them back. Thanks for your support.
Take 5 years. I'm gonna leave if you keep being an asshole. What the fuck is that? What the fuck was that? Wow. Clicking there 6 times.
Hey everybody, welcome to Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with Nick Brana and Ron Placone. How you doing?
Hello. Hey.
Nick Brana from a People's Party, Movement for a People's Party. He's trying to start a third party, so everybody go check him out at forapeoplesparty.org. Right now, we're talking about a third party election, or a third party spoiler, in Ohio. Because here's what happened in Ohio. There was a special election in the 12th district in Ohio, and it was really tight race. Troy Balderson is the Republican, got 101,772 votes. That's 50.1% of the vote. The Democrat, Daddy O'Connor, he got 100,208. That's 49.3%. Turns out a Green Party candidate, Joe Manchin, got 1,129. Now, even if you gave these votes to this person, they would have still lost. Right? Because if you do it, 12 minus 8 is 4. 6 minus 64, 564.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Okay, so you got Burn and Madness. That's what you're playing. Right, you discarded that Madness card, right? Yes, you did. That means you got more in your hand. Now, you have no way to discard your hand. Still good, though. It's always the field first. That's why that card sucks.